Good morning and welcome back. This is now weeks since we have been doing a live broadcast on a Wednesday during our leadership empowerment sessions. It is now 16 days that we as a household, as individuals in our family have been under the attack of COVID-19, the so-called third wave. We have been in isolation and we are all getting back to a new normal of living and getting over this causes and the impact of COVID-19. Many are sick in our household, of our friends and family members, and so many more have cold symptoms, normal seasonal cold symptoms. But one thing that I've really noticed is that fear can develop in our lives, fear of the unknown, and fear that paralyzes us. It steals our joy, it steals our peace, it steals our livelihood. You have to sit at home, in isolation, under quarantine, and you cannot go back to work. And many people in the current work environment, if you don't work, you don't get paid. So it's not just the sickness in itself that is paralyzing us. It is the fear regarding the sickness. We are bombarded with information of death. And I know people are dying. We have lost, even in our own family, we have lost people to COVID-19 over the past year. And so it's an absolute reality. But a bigger concern is the fear that is placed in our hearts and that paralyzes us. The lack of income, the lack of peace. And due to this isolation and quarantine, families are placed in an unnatural environment of close proximity for days and weeks on end. We have been now 16 days in quarantine, in total isolation, which is tough. It is tough emotionally. It's playing havoc in relationships. But I thank God that He is still in control of our lives on a daily basis. Our biggest challenge as individuals is to remain focused, to keep our eyes on God and on the prize, the destiny. And this is why I want to bring this lesson to you this morning. I know I have not advertised it on my Facebook page, but it's okay. And the title for this morning is Being a Navigator. In the time we're living in right now, we are called as leaders to navigate people, to navigate our own lives first of all, to navigate our families, to navigate our businesses, our churches. You see, anybody can steer a ship. Anybody can get behind a steering wheel and start to steer the ship. But not everybody is currently equipped to plot the course and to captain the ship effectively. And this is the challenge we face at this stage. It's a challenge for our leadership skills, for our ability to grasp onto vision and to understand vision. And I'm here this morning to encourage you. This 16 days was a time of reflection for me as well. What am I doing? With what am I busy? I've just finished my 10th book. And this 10th book is so relevant in the time we're living in. The title of this book is Storms the shapers of destiny. We tend to think a storm is there to destroy us. Storms are not there to destroy us. Storms are there to prepare us for our destiny. It's just a matter of perspective that we need to maintain in life. Leadership is influence. And this we have heard since March or April, May last year that I've started this leadership empowerment sessions. That leadership is influence. And we need to use our influence to build others up, to navigate them, to help them to plot a course for their own life, to come against negativity, to come against hopelessness, to bring calmness, to bring perspective in their personal lives, in their work environment, and help them to plot the course in their family or their private environment as well. Our roles as leaders are not limited to our businesses, to our ministries, and to our places of work. Our role as leaders are also linked to people's private lives. Yes, we don't want to hear it, we don't want to see it, we don't want to speak about it, but that is a fact. If your worker, if your subordinate is not happy at his workplace, if his mind is filled with fear, he will be an unproductive, unhealthy, ineffective worker at the workplace. So I'm here this morning to encourage you. As a leader, our impact is determined by your influence. Your influence in your own life. How does your own life look? Especially in the face of adversity. In challenging times. My influence that I have over those that are following me. My influence in my ministry. In my business. My influence that I exert in my community. Because man is not an island. He cannot live as an island. We are called to live as a community. What is a community? A community is a group of people living together with a similar mindset, a similar understanding, a similar purpose. And that is community. And it starts with my family. My immediate family, my natural family, my spiritual family, and my economical family in the bigger picture. And this requires of us to accept our responsibility and to walk in obedience to the calling of my life. Being committed to God first of all. My relationship that I have with God, my private time, my devotional time I have with God, my prayer time, my word study. This is how I empower myself with the word to uplift myself, as David said in 1 Samuel 30. He strengthened himself in the Lord. We cannot empower others. We cannot navigate others. We cannot help them to plot their course if we as a person is not even empowered in ourselves through Christ. We have to be obedient and committed to our natural families, to my children, to my wife, or to my spouse. Be committed to help them, to raise them up, to elevate them, especially now. I know we think leadership is just about a title, a position. It's about where I'm working. No, leadership starts with my own life. I must lead myself first. And as I lead myself first, I can lead others. If I cannot lead myself, where can I lead others to? And then there's a commitment and an obedience to my calling, to my dream. What are you dreaming about? Why are you getting up in the morning? I know many of us are getting up because of nature. But there's more to life than just to get up out of bed. Just to wake up. We have to get up with a song in our heart, with an expectation in our heart that there's a better day today than yesterday. And it starts with a resilience in our mind. It starts with a focus, a determination to make it work. We need to navigate our life. We need to speak life over our circumstances. And as a navigator, I said it starts with you and me. Every leader in a leadership position today, in a place of influence, it starts as a solo journey. It's the time you invest in yourself for your own future. I know many people think life owes me something. People owes me something. People don't owe you anything. We are responsible for our own lives in Christ Jesus. As somebody said in the comments here, our captain. He's the captain that is navigating me, but I must come to the place of fully surrendering unto God. And as I'm allowing God to steer my ship on this journey that starts as a solo journey, but we cannot travel this life as individuals. We are called corporately to make a difference. Together, we are stronger than we are as individuals. So, in our time of plotting a course, make sure that the course that you have plotted for destiny makes room for others to join you. Otherwise, you will be on a rowboat for the rest of your life, rowing alone, fighting the currents, fighting the storms alone. But the moment you are on a large ship, where God is your navigator, where He's the captain of your journey, you have staff, you have personnel, you have sailors that will help you through the challenging times. And if it was not for our household of faith, during this time of pandemic, during these challenging times that carried us through prayer, that carried us through support, by supporting us, by praying for us, by just picking up the phone, phoning us, WhatsApping us, sending us a message, we will not make it. This is family. If we do not bring other people on board and start to help them to navigate their lives, we are missing our God-given mission here on earth. Leaders must use their influence to motivate people, to encourage people, to activate them, to believe in them, to lift them up, to mobilize them, to help them to discover their destinies, help them to discover their purpose, and equipping them, empowering them, providing them a safe place to prepare for their journey. Every ship that leaves for a new destination, that is crossing the oceans, starts their journey in the safety of an harbor. And within the harbor, on embarking on that journey, the harbor master is taking the ship out into the open ocean. We cannot leave the harbor by ourselves. We have to have a harbor master. We have to have somebody in our ship behind the steer to help us to steer through the safety of the harbor, in the comfort of the knowing that somebody else knows the journey better than me, and help me to set me on course to my destiny. And that's our role as a leader, a navigator, We must always add value to other people's lives. Create for them a safe environment for where they can live from where they can depart. To be a navigator means to have a dream or a vision. What is your dream? What is your vision? Sadly to say, if you do not have a dream or a vision, every obstacle will become a stumbling block. But if you have a dream or a vision, that same thing that is a stumbling block will become a stepping stone to a higher place. If you take a pile of bricks, lying on a building site, it's a pile of bricks. But once you structure those pile of bricks in a certain way, it will become stairs that will take you to a second level, to a higher level. When this pandemic hit us last year, I said to my wife Esme, as surely as the Lord lives and I live, I shall not exit this pandemic in the same way as I've entered. I will make it my mission to add value to my life, to increase my capacity, to increase my ability, to increase my footprint of influence, so that I can help others to a better place. Since this pandemic in March last year, I've written 3 books. I've started numerous training and teaching sessions, impacting so many other lives. I'm not just here busy blowing my own trumpet. I am saying this to you. It all starts with a decision, a dream that you must have. And COVID-19 will be with us for quite a time, as I believe. But what is your dream this morning? Are you able to see the bigger picture, or are you only seeing what we're going through right now? We must be able to activate people to come on board. Say, come on board. Let me take you on this journey with me. This dream that I have is bigger than me. If your dream, your vision is not scaring you, it is too small. If you alone is needed to reach your dream is not big enough. This is why I always invite people, say, come on board. Let me take you somewhere. Grab onto my jacket. We are going somewhere. It might be tough. We might not know exactly how, but we are going. I am not sitting in a harbor, in the safety of the harbor, hoping to cross the oceans. You cannot get on the other side of the ocean if you are too scared to leave the safety of the harbor. And for us as leaders, as navigators, we must challenge people out of the safety of their harbors. Give them a hope for their future. Believe in them. See something in them. Show it to them. Paint a picture for them. And then you provide a ship to navigate them to the other side. Even if you have to take the journey with them the whole time. But navigators don't just anticipate problems. They know it's going to come. Every journey has a storm. But every storm has an answer. Every storm has an eye where you can relax for a moment. And every storm shall take us to your destiny. Please get this book of mine. It will help you. It will encourage you. It helped me during my challenging times, my storms, whatever your storm might be. It might be COVID, it might be unemployment, it might be marriage problems, it might be a divorce. Doesn't matter what your storm might be. We will all go through storms, not just once, not just twice, but every journey, it has a storm, and the storm is there to lift us up. Contact me if you want to pre-order this book. It will be life-changing for you, as it was for me and my wife. Storms are not just there to destroy us. Even if our boat sinks, like in the case of Paul, but he remained faithful. And because he remained faithful, a new boat was provided with all resources to take him to Rome. So as a navigator, you raise up a team. You train your team so that they will know what to do during the time of a storm. How to become resilient. How to bounce back when there are tough times. And this coming Sunday, I want to share on this with our time of fellowship. How to be resilient. How to overcome. And to live in joy and in peace. As a navigator, you see the future. You see what others don't see. As a navigator, you don't just see what others see. You see first. Because you have been in the presence of God. And yes, even in a secular workplace, you don't walk into your office in a secular company if you have not prayed as a navigator. Don't play catch up during the day. Set the pace from out of your time of devotion with God. People will tell you, but you cannot talk about Christianity. You cannot separate who you are from yourself, because I am a son of God. My relationship with Christ makes me who I am. So I cannot separate myself. As Saint Francis van Assisi has said, you can never just speak. We all need to testify on a daily basis, and if necessary, use words. So for us, let us come to the place of security. Let us create a place of hope. So as a navigator, we must see and lead others to the place of hope. Nehemiah, excellent example of a great navigator. He had a dream. He wants to see the walls of Jerusalem rebuilt. He had to plot a course. People should repair. And his strategy was just fix right in front of your own house. And we can apply the same principle today. If you want to change our nation, start with your own house. We complain about crime and corruption, but yet we don't pay our taxes. We exceed our speed limit. We don't wear our mask or our safety belts. Let us start with ourselves. Before we are pointing fingers unto others, let us start with ourselves. If you want people to see the course, the destiny that you have plotted, start with yourself. And then challenge everyone to start with their own lives first. And as you are then encouraging others to stand up with you, you are busy raising a team. Some will build with the left hand, others with the right hand. Some will build while others are guiding. So you're busy building a team, a multi-talented, multifaceted team that can work with left and right hand, that is ambidextrous, that can pray while they are leading. They can search God while they are plotting a course. He had a contingency plan, a plan B. And his strategy was, while some had shovels, others had spears. While others are interceding, others are just building up. It's never about a position. It's never about walking in front and in the limelight. Even if you are the intercessor praying on in your prayer closet, hidden away while nobody else is knowing. It's not to be an intercessor. It's not to pray so that others can see. It's not to judge when others don't pray. It's about to pray whenever you need to do whatever you need to do for a strategy to plot the course. So Nehemiah prepared himself. He prepared his team. He did his research. He did his due diligence. And he's on the state of the walls of Jerusalem and the state of the people. He was a prayer warrior. And then he identified key people. People of influence. So when you're plotting the course, plot the course. But get key people in position to help you to navigate this ship. You cannot do it alone. You cannot stand there in the helm of the ship and then run down to the engine room and then run to that side of the ship, the starboard and the bow, and up and down all over, and then make sure others are happy. No. Focus on what you are good at and empower others to become involved in what they are good at. We are not good at everything. He rallied the team. He got all the workers together. He shared the vision. He trained them. He motivated them. He encouraged them. And this is what I want to do this morning with you. I want to encourage you this morning. Don't allow the situation or the circumstance you're going through this morning to steal your focus and to steal the focus that of those that you are leading. So a navigator must become an effective navigator, because everybody can turn the ship left or right. But we need to plot the course. Make the plan simple so that people can understand. Get as many as possible people involved in the process. Delegate the tasks. Delegate responsibilities. But remember, delegation is not dumping. Delegation is empowering. You don't give a task to somebody else that will not benefit that person. If you are giving something away to somebody else that they cannot benefit from, you are dumping something that you don't want to do. But empowerment says, I want to give you something that shall raise your own bar. And as a good navigator, you must be a good communicator. You must be able to share the vision, to speak, to bring a new understanding. And remember, always be well prepared. Even for the unseen circumstances. How can you prepare for something that is unseen? Because you've been there before. I know many years ago when I took my first mission trip up to Malawi. And I can plot a course here in South Africa. So many kilometers, so many times, and this is when we have to stop. And I can plot a whole course. And I've done exactly the same thing on my way to Malawi. But the difference is, I've only read the roadmap. I've never been there before. I do not know the roads. And I was, sadly to say, well unprepared. I've lost 12 hours on my journey to Malawi because I did not know the road or the quality of the road. I had the roadmap. I know where to turn left, where to turn right, where to stop, where to go. but I did not know the quality of the road. The second time, when I went there, I was well prepared, even if something goes wrong, because I have worked in a contingency plan. And that is the difference between somebody that is just steering the ship and somebody that plots the course. A good leader must know the journey. And then you unite the team. You build the group into a team. A group is a group of people with individual focuses, individual purposes. But a team has one goal, one purpose, and one alone. And then, in this time of navigation, celebrate victories. I remember when my wife and I went on our first boat trip. And as we left the harbor, the very first time, they've blown the horn. And we enjoyed the sound. They started playing the music and there were balloons everywhere. And people were excited and shouting and screaming, clapping hands. They have celebrated our departure from the harbor. And that created the atmosphere for the journey. So as a good navigator, you create the atmosphere for your journey. Call the people to the vision. Be a good communicator. Be consistent. Walk with integrity. And I'm nearly done. Give me another 2-3 minutes and I'm done. As a navigator, this morning, empower others. Give them security. Make them believe in themselves. Create opportunities for them to lead. Create opportunities for them to have successes in their life. Create opportunities, a safe environment, a laboratory where they can practice their new skills without fearing failing. And go back on some of my teachings about 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, where I was teaching on making failing your friend. As a navigator, and I'm done. As a navigator, you have people's lives in your hands. Never take your journey lightly. Never take people for granted. We shall be held accountable one day for those who have been entrusted unto us to lead, to empower, to help them to discover, and to help them to reach their destiny. So become a good navigator. Celebrate life this morning. Give people hope. Raise people up. But challenge them out of their comfort zone so that they can leave the safety of the harbor to discover new destinies. Enjoy your journey.